Okay, I, this is technology for you. I'm hoping that I just can you hear me? I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. Can you hear me? I'll get it right next time. There you go. Oh God. Okay, I've got the T-shirt. There you go. I'm really sorry. I really am. I think that I cut my time really badly. I was not at home for the past 4 hours. I've just returned to the house, and and I thought I had mastered the art of putting this thing in my head. I didn't, but I really am sorry. Please do not take that as disrespect to you guys. But let's get into the topic. Okay, the topic of today is about where do we go? It's basically where do we go from here? And I said the last time we spoke here that we spend a lot of time complaining about things that are wrong in South Africa, and I'm tired of complaining. The thing is this: if if you are the kind of person who follows the news, who follows the developments in South Africa, who listens to all the crazy things that our politicians say all the time, the newspaper headlines are filled with these things. You know what's going on. We know that our president mentioned not too long ago that his his priority is to keep the ANC together. And he actually prefers to be seen as a weak president than somebody who's going to allow the ANC to break. So basically, he doesn't mind the South Africa suffering if that happens, if the ANC has to suffer at the same time. In other words, for him, putting together the ANC or making sure the ANC doesn't break is a priority. That's a problem for me, and I hope it's a problem for you too. So I decided long ago that the solutions that South Africa needs to become the country that it can still be are no longer in the African National Congress. And please do not try to find another nice person to like in the ANC. It doesn't work that way. You have to understand the traditions, the cultures, the habits of the African National Congress. So if Tito Mboweni is a nice guy who says nice things, or another lady or a man in the ANC says nice things, they speak good English, they put all the punctuation marks in the right place, please do not fall for the trap of voting for them. Because when you vote for a nice person in the ANC, you're voting for the ANC. So don't vote to strengthen somebody. And I think that we need to stop the thinking that seems to be growing in some quarters that that whoever rules or comes to lead South Africa must be of a particular race, particular gender, particular religion, particular sexual identity. It shouldn't be that way. What we need is a South African who understands that the fact that we are a very diverse country is non-negotiable. Actually, we do not have a choice. The only choice that we have, and anybody who aspires to lead this diverse South Africa, and I'm talking about South Africans who are in this country, in South Africa physically, and South Africans who live across the world in the diaspora. They're in Europe, they're in South America, they're in South Asia, in Australasia, they're all over the place. They're in Africa, in the Middle East. They come in different colors. They come in different sizes. They come in with different backgrounds, and we need a leader who will appreciate that we don't have a choice but to create a home for all those people. So I'm just like many of you have admired the kind of work that Paul and Jared and Joanita and others have been doing, going out there, getting South Africans behind this. We need more of that. We need more people in Soweto, in Kailicha, in Michelle's Plain, in Bel Air, in Bishop's Court, all over the place wearing these t-shirts, not just for the fun of it, but to say that we are united, to say that these are t-shirts that are worn by South Africans who care about this country. And I hope that you, all of you who are sitting in other parts of the world, will be wearing the t-shirts to say that we are united. The first message of these t-shirts should be, we are united. We want one thing. We are together. Despite the diversity, we can still be united and build one strong country that is a home for all. That is the key. That's the thing that matters. The next thing that matters is to say, then where do we go beyond standing in the streets and showing our placards and our beautiful T-shirts? Where to from here? And I think that is the question that a lot of people have been asking. Where do we go from here? Now, where we go from here is to say, how do we change fundamentally, systemically, the way things function in South Africa? We're not going to change things in South Africa by standing in the streets, appearing in the newspapers and on TV. And I said this to Jared, and I'm saying this to you, and I think I might have said it the last time I spoke here. What needs to happen is to have an event where South Africans come together at a stadium somewhere, like in our diversity. The way we celebrate the Springboks victory each time that happens, we need to come together and celebrate our diversity. We need to come together and show those who are trying to put us apart that we're not going to let them put us apart, because divided we are weak. Divided we will never be able to achieve, to realize, to build the South Africa that we can still be. So my call to you is that we must go beyond protesting in the streets and taking pictures and looking good. We must go to the point where we make decisions about what kind of South Africa we want for ourselves, for our children. What kind of policy interventions or shapes, what kind of policies on everything that impacts South Africa, economically, socially, and foreign affairs, all those policies. And the only way to change things or to be part of the change is to be in the system. So we should not be afraid now to say, look, we've given the guys who are lording it over our affairs, they've had 26 years to do something. But now, as they get more desperate, like Mugabe did in Zimbabwe, as they get more desperate, as they get more fearful that we might kick them out, and they've seen it happen in 2016 during the local government elections. They were kicked out of 3 big metros. And they know that if it could happen in 2016, it can happen again next year. That is why they're trying to postpone next year's elections. Right. So we need to get to a point where we say, let's get into the system. Let's be represented. The people of South Africa need a proper representative, whether it's direct elections, of course, direct elections, or we come in there, we back a few people that we believe will act for us. But we also have to have measures in place to make sure that nobody can go into the system and go rogue on us. So if you send Paula Smith or Jan van Wyk or Tim Jabavu into the system, and they then suddenly start beginning to think that it's about them. How do you do what? How do you remove them from the system? So we have to have a system where we don't get trapped by individuals. We need a system where people work for the constituents and we are the constituents, or we take them out of the system. So we need to go into the system. We need to have a robust representation of the citizens of South Africa. We need to liberate South Africa again. It's been liberated before. It needs to be liberated again. Everything that we see, high levels of corruption, high levels of impunity. People do things, and because they think they can, because they know they can, because the arrangement that is in place currently allows them to do those things. They show us middle fingers all the time. All right, because they know that the system is acting in their favor, because they know that nobody can touch them. I mean, it's very ridiculous to see, for instance, the African National Congress talking about corruption. We see letters, beautiful speeches being made, but leaders of the ANC still have the courage to stand up in front of cameras, TV cameras, and tell the world that without the ANC, there would not be South Africa. I mean, that's like nonsense. So basically, for them, the ANC comes first. Without the ANC, there's no South Africa. Now, we need to tell them that without South Africa, there's no ANC, because that's what it is. Without South Africa, there's no ANC, there's no DA, there's no UDM, there's no EFF, there's nothing. There's not us. South Africa is here to stay. You and I are going to die, all of us. The ANCs might be 100 years or 102 years or 5 years old now. South Africa does not rely on the ANC to grow. And I think that there is a danger in too many South Africans thinking that being in a position now where they're unable to imagine a South Africa without the African National Congress because it's been in place for too long. So that has to change. We have to create a new system. We have to change everything systemically in South Africa. Not basically, we need to go beyond protesting to get to a point where we say, okay, now let's draw again a plan for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years for South Africa. Okay, we need a South Africa that cares for each one of its citizens, irrespective of whether they are gay, lesbian, intersex, bisexual, transsexual, they are Muslim, Christian, they don't believe in God, or they believe in God, they are Catholic, you know, Presbyterian, all of that. We are a very secular democracy. And as a secular democracy, we have the opportunity to create awesome things, drawing from the diversity that we have of South Africans. And if we don't do that, if we keep thinking that all the solutions have to come from the African National Congress, we're not going to get to where we are. So we should stop underestimating the power that we have as South Africans. We have to get together. And I know that the African National Congress now is going to use the lockdown restrictions to create conditions for us not to get together. And that's a problem. So we can't meet in a stadium because, maybe lockdown restrictions do not allow us to meet in a stadium altogether, or various stadiums across the country, to speak truth to power. But we can still speak truth to power in the elections. We must insist that the elections that have to happen next year do not get cancelled. It's not postponement. There's no such thing as postponing elections. It's election cancellation. We must not allow them to cancel the elections, because only the people who are fearful of what could happen to them see interest in cancelling elections. We must insist on a day at the ballot box, and we have to vote not like club members. We have to vote like chess players. We must not vote for a party. We must vote for South Africa. You must always ask yourself, what kind of South Africa do you want for yourself today? What kind of South Africa do you want for your children in the future? And what does it take? So don't say I'm not voting for the DA because I hate Steenhuisen. I don't vote for the UDM because I hate Bartholomew. So I don't vote for Co because I hate Co. No, you need to say, what are these people promising? What is their track record? What do I want for South Africa? To what extent will me giving them my vote help enhance the journey towards the South Africa I want? So think, look at what people are promising, look at their track records, okay? And vote not out of love. Don't look for love in the wrong places. And that is a problem we have in South Africa. And do not think that because somebody is black like you, or white like you, or mixed race like you, they're going to do things for you that work for South Africa. It's not about you. It's not about me as an individual. It's about our collective. I think we have to understand one thing, and I'm going to stop very soon. We do not have a choice in South Africa. We have to work together. We have to create a South Africa that accommodates all of us, not just people who are physically here, people who are across the country. We want people sitting in Australia, in Canada, in Zambia, in Russia, in UK, London. All those South Africans must look back at us and say, you know what? That's my country. I'm very proud to identify with it, and I'm very proud to support it in the best way I can. But right now we don't. A lot of South Africans sitting in the diaspora are not happy with what is going on in South Africa. So when our president and our governments and teams of marketers, whether it's the World Economic Forum in Davos, or tourism people and investment people going around the world to say, please invest in South Africa, we don't have sufficient numbers of South Africans in those countries saying, yes, please, we behind those people, support them. And I don't blame him. I don't blame them, because the country that we have is not run by people who appreciate that it's not just about them, it's about all of us, those who are here and those who are sitting across the world. So we need to build a country that is for everybody. And I'm proudly associating with Move 1 million. One day will be Move 10 million. 1 million at a time, right? It's like go big South Africa or go home. We have to believe in us. I believe in this movement. I believe in the positivity, the energy that I see in this movement, that we still have it in ourselves not to give up. South Africans do not give up. South Africa belongs to all who live in it, and all who are born here, who live in other parts of the world. I don't consider people who've left the country to no longer be South Africans. They belong to this country. Okay, they belong to where they are. They also belong to this country. So we have to build a country that is what we signed up for at the dawn of our democracy. That country is gone. It's been raped. That dream has been deferred. And we need to wake up. We need to stop supporting individuals. We need to understand how the system works. We need to understand how our electoral system works. Please, until we can vote for individuals that we all agree are the right people to vote for, do not vote for individuals in political parties. Because there are many charming people, especially in the governing party. There are individuals who say nice things, who always ask the right questions, who push, for the right thing. What matters for us should be the ultimate decisions that come out of meetings when they meet at the NEC, Luthuli House, wherever. So do not fall for the trap that, oh, but there are some nice guys, they say the right things, therefore I'm going to vote for that. No, we need to vote away from the ANC. Too much power in the same hands for 26 years, 29 years it's going to be in 2014 is wrong. It's really wrong for any democracy because now people fear politicians. We should not live in a democracy where we fear politicians or we kneel in front of them. We treat them as blue-blooded royals because they are not. South Africa is not a kingdom. South Africa is a republic. So I rely on you, and I will look forward to working with all of you to fighting for the South Africa that I believe we can still be if we do the right things. It's not about emotions, and it's bigger than me, it's bigger than you as an individual, it's bigger than any one of us, it's about all of us. Let's hold hands on the 5th of September. I'm behind Jared and the team, and I love what they're doing. Wherever you are in the world, wear your black t-shirts. Let's create more of these t-shirts and work together. It's not about Jared, it's not about Paul, it's not about Juanita, it's about you, it's about us, it's about your children, it's about what kind of South Africa you want. When you sit there in the world, you want to be able to look back and say, that's my country. Right now, we are not able to say those things, and it's unfortunate. But we can. When we work together, we can do it. Thank you very much. So I'm going to end this by saying, have a lovely Sunday evening.